shout out to those of you who showed love on this little mini series we're starting to figure out here with the problem with finishing badges. I told you guys the goal would be 100 views on that video to make this video right here today about the shooting badges. And sure enough, you guys delivered on that. So now, today, we'll be going over the shooting badges. The problem with the shooting badges. Is certain shooting badges useful or useless? Let's start right away. All right. So the first shooting badge we're going to talk about is blinders. 2K says that blinders are jump shots taken with the defender closing out in their peripheral vision will suffer a lower penalty. Now, given that I'm in my point guard stage of 2K right now, I'm in my PG stage, and strictly because playing too many rec games with randoms, you got to take control of the game. Blinders, I now am starting to find out the usefulness of blinders, because with this badge you have to be a blinder taking shot, and my shot taking is more conservative. I don't really, yak like some of you out there do. So blinders is definitely a useful badge, strictly because it depends on your shot making, your shot taking, and I'm starting to figure out right now, given that with my play style, blinders will definitely benefit me a bit more than I thought it would, because, well, I'm a mid-range specialist. I'm Chris Paul, and you get helped off of the corner a lot, or you get past your opponent and he's actually like affecting your shot from the side. So I may have to start equipping blinders on as I play, but blinders is definitely a useful badge. Now then we move over to catch and shoot. Why don't you have this badge on? This is the most useful badge for, I would say, any player, but I guess when you're on ball, it's a little bit different, because you technically have the ball all the time. But anything other than a point guard, this badge should be your number one badge. Like, this should be the first badge you probably put on. I know we're gonna get into sniper and badges like that, but catch and shoot should probably be the first badge you put on, because that right there by itself that's everything. Then we have Chef. Gives a boost to the range that a player can effectively shoot off the dribble 3-point attempts. You see where mine's is. It's silver. We aren't Steph Curry. We should not try to be Steph Curry. We should leave the Chef badge strictly catered to Steph Curry, because this badge here, I'm gonna say this badge is useless. That's right, I'm gonna say Chef is a useless badge. Why do I think Chef is useless? Well, we should not be just coming up the court and yakking threes from deep. I get Steph Curry makes it look good, but that's look. We don't need Chef. We don't need Chef. Chef, we were fine with limitless range per se, but even that we don't need that. It's not enough PGs in the league that shoot from that distance right now. I can only name 3 off the top of my head. Maybe Dame Lillard, I know Steph, and maybe Trae Young. Other than that, we don't have enough evidence to show that shooting off the dribble from 30 feet is viable yet. If we're gonna add this badge in the game and badges like that, maybe we should wait until a couple players, a few more point guards start doing that before we do that. And then now we're gonna move on to circus threes. well, it would be a bit contradicting if I said it's useless and I have it on. But I will say this badge is useful. I will say it's useful because of the fact that it gives you another element if you're off the dribble shooter. Like you enjoy shooting pull-ups, it gives you another element. But unfortunately, see, for me, I'm using it because I watched a video on review and it talked about how this actually helps. It could benefit and help a little bit when you kind of take those errant shots that you're not trying to take, but you're not really set up all the way. Kind of like a fast break situation where you kind of catch it wonky and your player doesn't get set and he shoots. This kind of helps that. So that's why I have it on. But you have players who put this on and literally the whole game decide to left right you and try to drift from the corner. Those are scumbags. We talked about them before. Don't be like them. Use the badge for the reason that I use it for. You know, when you don't want to get when you don't set your feet that well, use that badge. And that may be a little bit different. But if you're gonna be the scumbag and just literally look to drift all game from the right corner or the left corner, depending on your drifter, that's you. That's you. And so now we're just gonna move on to the next one, clutch shooter. We know clutch shooter. We know what clutch shooter is. Now, is this badge useful or useless? I would say it's useful. I would say it's useful. Probably more useful in park. Strictly because I guess that the score would be a little bit closer, so it activates more. You a wrecking pro-am player, this could also be great. Now I don't know what tier you should have it on. I guess depending on your play style and where you've already put your badges at to kind of get your player to where you want him to be, you can put this up as high as you want, I guess. But clutch shooter is definitely a useful badge. Now we move on to corner specialist. Well, if you're a shooter, like your primary skill is a shooter and you're off ball, anything that involves boosting your shooting, you should put on. Anything. Corner specialist, I get this is kind of mainly for the robots that are told to stand in the corner while their scumbag dribbles for 23 seconds and don't move until I tell you to. I understand this is corner specialist for people who, you know, for bronze, you literally need a 55-3. So you can make a build that's inside oriented and give it a 55-3 and you can get corner specialist and be deadly out there. But this badge, I will say is useful. I will say clutch shooters, corner specialist is useful. Now we got Deadeye. Oops, sorry. Now we got Deadeye. I want to say that the badge is useless because you should not be taking shots where Deadeye has to activate. But I'm going to put it in a useful category because we don't know what a contest is in 2K anymore. You know, it used to be very simple. It used to be back in the day, you put the right stick up, your player contests the shot. Now, we don't know what a contest is in 2K anymore. We don't know if that thing is going to say wide open, if that thing says open, if that thing says 30% contested, but it's still green. We don't know what a shot contest is. You can be standing in front of somebody's face and do the shot contest animation, and that thing will say wide open green. Excellent. Reaction, or no, the favorite one is when you contest a shot and it say slightly late, but he reacts as if it's a green and it says wide open, but you're questioning everybody in your party like that says open. So Deadeye is a useful badge because, well, we don't know what the contest is in 2K, and Deadeye clearly boost that category to be able to shoot booth and it goes in. Difficult shots. Now, I'm a little biased. when it comes to difficult shots. It's the high difficulty jumpers such as hop, step, spin, step backs, pull-ups receive a shot boost from mid-range. I'm a little biased. I'm going to always say this badge is useful. Always going to say it's useful because this is my badge. You might as well, when you see difficult shots, say this is the Chris Jones badge, but I know I don't have it on right now. As you can see, I only have 11 out of 26 badges with this player. It's going to get on. Trust me, it's going to get on. It's going to get on. This is the Chris Jones special badge. This is from, I fell in love with this. Me and this badge first met in 2K18. And we've been together ever since. Every time I can get this badge on a guard, best believe it's going on the badge on that guard or that off ball or whatever, because that perimeter player, because this is everything to me. Because we already spoke about with the finishing, you can't dunk in this game no way. So I just try to pull up from mid-range, make you real mad, make you real mad. But you know, that's another game for another day. Now fade ace, post fadeaways taken from any distance. It boosts post fadeaways taken from any distance. Now this badge, I'm gonna put this badge in the useful category. I'm gonna say it's useful strictly because anybody can shoot a post fade in this game, depending on your play style, depending on your build. If you make bigger point guards, I will not condemn you for throwing that 5'9" speed boosting demon scumbag into a post and fading him. I do it every time. Do it every time. You mix that, if you want to be the low post or a post presence PG and take advantage of this, I put this badge on. If you're a big man, put this badge on. If you are just any type of player, put this badge on. Ain't no issue with trying to be Kobe and Jordan. Two guards shooting post fadeaways, ain't no issue with that. Ain't no issue trying to be KD at the 3 and the 4 shooting post fadeaways. And you know it ain't no issue being Joel Embiid or Jokic at the 5, Karl Anthony Towns at the 5 and shooting post fadeaways. Put fade ace on. You know, I wouldn't say spam it, you know, but depending on your play style and what you do, fade ace could be very useful. Now we got Green Machine. Gives an additional shot boost when consecutively achieving excellent releases on jump shots. Of course, this is useful. Of course, it's useful. For those of you out there that want to use real player percentage, because I see a lot of that starting to spark up now. Real player percentage. There's no point of you having this on if you got real player percentage on, because you ain't green enough and you ain't even shooting a shot. Now, of course, I try to do it. I think I started that. You know, my friends blame me for it because I was in my team. When I was doing my team, I was using real player percentage. You know, I was using real player percentage. The reason I was using it was because I was on a TV when I started the My Team series, and then I transitioned back to my monitor, and I couldn't time anything. But anyway, Green Machine is a useful badge, but if you got real player on, it's not useful. So depending on if you time your jumper or if you don't, Green Machine goes on and off depending on what you do. Hot Zone Hunter, self-explanatory. This is a useful badge. Even though by now it's kind of like negated, because like at this stage in 2K, you should probably have hot spots almost everywhere on the court. Maybe one neutral spot, maybe one cold spot. Other than that, you should have hot spots all the way on the court. And I mean, Hot Zone Hunter is kind of like when you know your spot or you know what you like to shoot, you know, this just gives you a little boost to whatever you like to shoot. So Hot Zone Hunter, useful. Limitless Spot Up, useful. I mean, my God, are we gonna ever run into a useless badge? Useful. Limitless Spot Up is useful strictly for, you know, those of you who are told to stand in the spot and don't move until they tell you to. You stand on your hash, you shoot that thing. It really increases your range of shooting. It could really help beat zones. When you play zones, it could really help because you can not only shoot from the hash, but you can shoot from that R or that C area in the rec logo. You can shoot from there. So when you playing some 2-3 zones, here, I'll give you a little tip. If you playing somebody in 2-3 zone, have one of your limitless spot up shooters stand right behind you at that R logo. See, because the defense ain't gonna be expecting that much. Have them stand right there and shoot that thing. There's another way to beat 2-3 outside of the way y'all normally try to beat 2-3 with your hash sitters and corners sitters, and you kind of just work in between there. So limitless spot up, useful. Lucky 7, useful. Fast pace. If you're a fast paced team, is useful. Even if you're not a fast paced team, if you're just a, like for me, Lucky 7 ain't that useful because I am too much of a I don't leak out when I play PG. I'm your traditional PG. I'm like right there at the foul line extended area when I play PG. So Lucky 7 doesn't affect me, but my teammates, it affects them because I'll swing that thing. I'll catch that joint, one pass, boom, 3 seconds into the shot clock, we money. You know, if I'm at the 5, everybody on my team should have Lucky 7 because I'm gonna get that rebound. I'm just gonna launch it. You gonna get that board. I mean, you gonna get that boost, get that off. Lucky 7. If you play fast pace, if your team is a fast paced team, Lucky 7 is a great badge to have. If you guys are a grit and grind team, ain't no point in Lucky 7 because y'all not even trying to get a shot off within 7 seconds. Now, mismatch expert. Oh, brother. As much as I want to call this badge useless, I have to say that it's useful. But I will say it's a terrible badge. It's a terrible, terrible badge because it's after forcing the switch, a player with this badge will have more success when shooting over a taller defender. That is basically magnifying, glorifying, and what's the word? And promoting a small point guard to shoot some booth over taller players. Now, look, man, we don't have to get into no regular basketball conversation about this, man. When you are a shorter basketball player, yes, it is viable and liable for you to be able to create your own shot. You know, because you're so little, you can't just go to the basket. You can't just dunk. But there is a degree of difficulty that happens when you shoot a jumper over a taller defender being smaller. I think mismatch expert should be combined with difficult shots because it's a difficult shot. You see what I'm saying? Why do a short player in this game get a boost for shooting booth over a taller player? We know half the time. First of all, we can't even really put bigger defenders on smaller guys in this game because when you play one of them true scumbags, they will left, right, speed boost. This little move they do when they do the little gather back, and then they just speed boost to the right, gather back, speed boost to the left, let alone a screen being in the middle of that. You don't have no advantage. And if you got the nerve to make a regular size point guard, my God, let me be a 6'3" point guard, the average point guard height. But you out here guarding a kid who want to be 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", 5'10", they getting all this magical boost for shooting booth over you, and you guarding him. This is a bad badge, man. It's a bad badge. It promotes bad gameplay, but it's useful, unfortunately. Rhythm shooter. Increases the chances of a made shot after sizing up your opponent with dribble moves. I think rhythm shooter kind of plays into mismatch expert. They kind of go hand in hand with each other. You know, because you're already getting speed boosted and dribble boosted out of the size up animation. So you put rhythm shooter on with it. I'm pretty sure that's a green bean every time. So rhythm shooter unfortunately goes hand in hand with mismatch, and it is a useful badge. Of course, there's a way to use this badge without being a scumbag, but this community's full of them. So this kind of, you know, you kind of have to get scumbaggy to survive up in this game. Next we have set shooter. This is probably the worst badge 2K has ever implemented into their game. Logically, it's a great badge. Literally, it's the worst badge in the game. Once we don't find out that doesn't even activate until after 2 seconds of standing still, makes this badge complete. the way they update and patch badges, they should update and take badges out. This is a badge that needs no recollection or anything in this game. None. This badge is absolutely useless. Now, of course, we can find situations where it can be useful, but I mean, who's gonna leave you open in 2K with sniper and everything else that goes with shooting? Who you think just gonna sit back and be like, wow, that's a slasher build? Yeah, I'm just gonna back up off of him and let him shoot. He has set shooter on, you're gonna die. But as far as anybody else, anybody who just made a build that has some type of 3, we don't need set shooter. That's probably the worst badge in the game. Slippery off ball, another useless badge. You would think logically, you're thinking this badge would be great, but you have to remember you're playing 2K, the illogical game, the game that has no logics to it. You know, a lot of our sports games nowadays, a lot of games in general now have lost the logic in them. Slippery off ball is one of those badges where the logic is lost. Logically, it sounds good. Slippery off ball. Tempting to get open off screens, the player becomes more effectively navigates through traffic. Player can basically move freely with slippery off ball. You know, but is it really worth spending badge points on? Do your team literally run? If your team literally runs like set plays where you have off ball screens and a big man's going to set a back pick on the 2 guard and he's running a baseline with this power forward setting another back pick and then he's shooting the corner 3. All right, maybe it could be useful for you, but nobody plays like that. We know how to meta play. Everybody stand still. Big man, you come up here, you set this pick on me. Big man. And we just I'm gonna sit here and dance around this screen with my speed boosting cheese, and then I'm just gonna shoot this 3 with all my other badges, my mismatch expert, rhythm shooter, and all these other badges that help me shoot my 3s. And well, that's it. So everybody else, you can die, because I'm gonna average 30 points as this point guard because I'm that nice. But yes, slippery off ball, useless. Sniper. This is the most overpowered badge in the game. Literally the most overpowered badge in the game. The most useful badge in the game. Now, of course, sniper works for everyone else except me and the people I play with. Sniper doesn't work for us. But for everyone else, this badge right here needs to be completely removed from the game. Before, it was cool when you used the right stick, it gave you a boost. But now this badge is so overpowered, so useful, that it needs to be removed. And they're gonna do it. They're just gonna wait till next year. That's gonna be the selling point of next year, is that this badge is gonna be nerfed into the ground. But this badge right here is the most annoying badge in this game. People will go all game and react on non-green shots. It's amazing to me that within the same possession, you can come up and shoot a slightly late wide open and brick it. They throw it up the court off of your rebound, and that dude shoots a slightly late wide open and is running up the court reacting. Only this badge. This badge right here is just the most. This badge makes me angry, man. It makes me angry. It does. Now we got stop and pop. Boost shot rating on standstill 3-pointers after dribbling. Once again, don't think with logic. This badge is useful if your game is 3-point predicated. This badge is not useful for me. I'm mid-range oriented. I enjoy shooting mid-range shots. Stop and pop, even though it's on, you see it's on bronze. I got it on bronze strictly because there might be a chance when I come off a screen and they're already dropping and playing back because I don't abuse the mid-range, that I can just stand there and end up shooting a 3 and get a little boost. But if your game is predicated where all you want to do is just dance behind a screen and shoot a 3 every possession, stop and pop is the badge for you. Very useful. Next, we have volume shooter. After a player has taken a small handful of shots, an additional boost to shot attributes is given for every subsequent shot, whether it's a make or miss. This badge only applies to the person who shoots the most shots on your team. If you are the robot, the corner sitter, the hash sitter, the dude that makes a player, spends $50 on it, grinds all your badges just to go and stand in a spot and probably take about 8 shots, 5 to 8 shots a game. This badge is not for you. This badge is for the dude that's on your team that probably has the ball in his hand and is shooting 15 to 20 shots a game. This badge is for him or her. That's who this badge is for. Volume shooter is literally for the person on your team that takes the most shots. Now, granted, my type of offense, the offense that I run, everyone's going to eat. So volume shooter may not be that beneficial for my team per se, because we all gonna eat, we all gonna ISO, we all gonna have the ball, we all gonna share the rock, get it going. But there is them games where volume shooter can be useful for my shooters, for the people on my team that like to shoot. I'm gonna draw some contact, I'm gonna draw some attention eventually. This might be your game, you know. Preferably a shooting guard on my team can have volume shooter, because he's probably gonna be the first one I look to. A shooting guard and small forward. The 2 big men on my team probably should not even put volume shooter on, because y'all shots are probably going to be limited strictly off of my wing players are going to end up getting open. We're going to get them open before, you know, you get open. But volume shooter is the last badge of the shooting category, and it is useful. So out of all the badges that's in this shooting category, the only useless ones we ran into is set shooter and slippery off ball. That's pretty much it. They have 2 shooting badges in this game that's useless. That's pretty much why everybody can shoot, because every badge in this game for shooting is catered to help you shoot better. And believe it or not, there's still some people out there who can't shoot. Oh, brother. Once again, let's see how this video does. If this video reaches 100 views, we will move on to playmaking. If this video does not, this series will end. But until that time begins, I'm gonna have to sign out.